Welcome back, my friends, to the new home for Hyperroll TFT content on YouTube, our Tark's channel. Today, I want to show you the build I talked about in my other video that's kind of an overview of 7.5, link up above in the little box up there. But we're going to look specifically at Whisperers and when you decide to go into it. Often, if I'm even thinking about it, I like to pick up one of the key elements, which would be a Negatron cloak, a BF sword, a bow, or a chain vest. Those give me the elements for the Bloodthirster and the Titan's Resolve, but there's a lot more you can also do with the Negatron cloak, so you can make a Dragon's Claw, which is useful in a lot of different builds as well. As of the first augment, this game is not committing in any real direction. I decide to just go ahead and go for Weak Spot because that will work in a lot of different builds. Anytime you can reduce armor, you're in a good place. I see Zyra and decide to grab her because I know she can be a good unit, especially if I can put together Whisperers. But right now, I don't have much to go with it. It didn't give me a Sylas, so I'm not in a strong position. My goal is just to make the strongest board possible at this moment and try to survive. Unfortunately, I run into the kid who has a slightly better synergy set up front with the two bruisers. So while I have a couple of 2-star units, it's not necessarily enough to get through this early, although we're going to get really close. I've put a tier onto my crazy plant lady in the hopes that she'll cast more often, but Talia is just able to get off the last shot before my ult goes off. An absolute key item is blue buff, so I see the second tier pick it up and can 2-star my Zyra, so I'm feeling in a much better position now than I was a moment ago. And while the key is going to be once I fill in everything else, as you can see, having the blue buff on her is going to increase our chances of winning greatly. In the next round, I could feel the hand of Gary, and I was lucky enough to get a Sylas, and you can see how that changes so much. Now, when Zyra, when she casts, she's going to hit a line of people and shrink them all, reducing their magic, resist, and their armor, also allowing any hit from a Whisperer to increase their ability power. You can see right here, it just allows her to wipe out their Vladimir. What I'm really looking for here is a sword or a bow to fill out my key items, but in lieu of that, I grab the Negatron cloak, because that can be used if I can get more Negatron cloaks later on. And again, here we will showcase the power of the plants. Once she's ready to cast, she takes the back row, shrinks them down. Sylas is shrinking down the front line, so between it all, they are gaining AP and making it easy to win. Since casting is so important for her, anytime I see a Seraphine, I want to pick that up because that will trigger Evoker, which will give you additional mana anytime another unit casts. For the next set of augments, I'm tempted to roll because we're at gold level, and that means Thrill of the Hunt 700 is out there, but I decide to pick up the Axiom Arc, since getting that additional mana will allow our crazy plant lady to cast more often when she gets a kill, and that casting is going to keep large amounts of the opposing team weaker. I'd like to get a Morellonomicon on her, so I go ahead and put the Needlessly Large Rod as a starter piece. I haven't gotten any of my key items yet, so I'm still on the lookout for them. As you can see, the mid-game can be a bit tricky. I don't have an item holder for my key items because I don't have them, and you're not likely to get Sy'Fen yet, so you're not as strong as you can be. Seeing a spatula pop up makes me wish I had taken the Earth Special, but I can go ahead and get the bow and then at least create an item holder for the Titan's Resolve. At this point, I will use Nidalee. I have picked up a Gnar just so I have the Shapeshifter buff, and I have now enough Negatron cloaks to create the Dragon's Claw on Sylas so he's healing more. I also keep getting a lot of our crazy plant lady, so I'm picking her up in the hopes to get her to 3 stars. But without my optimal items, I'm likely going to have to suffer through some losses. They can hold up for a little bit, but having a Cannoneer Rengar leap into my back line at this point is going to be a little too much. I'm counting on my crazy plant lady to hold them down and Sylas to stay up long enough, but we're just not there yet. You'll get a better idea of what I'm hoping for ultimately here, because once she comes down from her Zephyr, she is able to take their back line down. Sylas can hold up the front line, especially with his shielding and the healing that he's getting from the Dragon Claw. All of that will allow them to get in and ultimately win. For the last set of augments, they're not really what I'm hoping for. Ascension could work because the team holds up, but I decide to roll. I get my Thrill of the Hunt 700, which is one of my favorite gold level augments. But at this point, I'm in an interesting spot. I need to get a dragon on this team and make it stronger. I'd love it to be Sy'Fen, but I don't see him yet, so I go ahead and grab the Jade Dragon just so I can keep the team strong while I continue to search. Also, the same items that are good for Sy'Fen are good for Xiaoyu, so if I can't get Sy'Fen, I can go in this direction. I'd rather not because the team hasn't been set for that, and there are better teams out there. As you can see, this one with a gold Gnar tears through me pretty quickly. Now it is Treasure Dragon time, and I am counting on this Treasure Dragon to fill in what I need. I absolutely need a sword because I need to be able to make the Bloodthirster. So once I see it, I'm just going to go ahead and take anything with a sword. That healing on Sy'Fen and the shield in particular are absolutely key. Again, the same items will work on Xiaoyu, so I can transfer over to Jade if I want to, but given that somebody has a gold Gnar, I'm not really inclined to do it. For now, it will make a decent move, but it's not perfect. I'm going to end up bringing in Pantheon, so at least I'll have an additional Whisperer on the board. I've got the 3-star gold Crazy Plant Lady, so I go ahead and put the Rage Blade on her. The reason is every time she hits, she is going to be shrinking them, and then she's going to gain AP off of each thing that she continues to hit. With the Rabadon's Death Cap, that will make her exceptionally strong. We're also going to play a little bit of Dragon Roulette here while we continue to look for Sy'Fen. We go ahead and put Shyvana in with less than optimal items, but at least she's got Gnar, making her shapeshifter ability a little more powerful. You'll see in this round why Thrill of the Hunt is my favorite gold level augment. It brings your champions back to nearly full health almost any time they get a kill. Watch the Crazy Plant Lady. This is going to turn into a 3v1 that she probably wouldn't otherwise win, but she loses health, gains it back, loses health, and gains it back, and ultimately wins. Now at this point, I am still desperately searching for a Sy'Fen to finish this off, and there he is. Thank you, Gary. The elusive Sy'Fen is now part of the match, and we have our 6 Whisperers. For the next item, I decide to get the Rage Blade to put on Sy'Fen to speed up his attacks. I'm also keeping Zyra in the game for now, because that last Whisperer will work really well on her to help shred armor in addition to us already having Weak Spot. You will quickly see that 6 Whisperers is very, very strong. It doesn't hurt that I have a 2-star Zyra, Crazy Plant Lady, whatever she is, and the Thrill of the Hunt, but they will get through a team very quickly. I've decided to bring Rakan into the match to increase Mystic, and when I find a Bard, I can finally get rid of that Gnar who's just been hanging out for too long. So we've now put together 3 Mystics with Bard, and then 2 Rage Wing with Rakan and Zyra, along with our 6 Whisperers and 2 Evokers. It's a pretty strong team at this point. With the additional magic resist, I feel we're going to be able to stand up to almost anything. And as you can see, we're going to very quickly reduce this team down to a fraction of what it was. With the win pretty much guaranteed, I decide to go ahead and check in on my kid who's playing Lagoon. But Lagoon Mage Team just met Lagoon Mage Team, and unfortunately my kid was not lucky enough to get a blue buff at any point. And so the one with the blue buff wins, but it does end up putting us into the top 4. Now, mage comps are very strong this season, especially with Lagoon, and this person has one. But as you will see, a 3-star Crazy Plant Lady is just a little bit too much, and they go down incredibly fast. With one team left to beat, I've grabbed a Soraka to hold on the bench just in case this one doesn't go my way, and a little extra healing will help. But again, you will now see once more why I love Thrill of the Hunt so much. This team is very, very tough with a 2-star Shyvana and an Aurelian Soul, so they're going to do a ton of damage, and that Shyvana is going to be critting with her spells every time. But Sy'Fen will knock them down and stay alive, first thanks to the shield from the Bloodthirster, then thanks to Thrill of the Hunt, which keeps bringing his health back and allows us to win the match. Whispers is a really fun build. If you get the chance to do it, I say go for it. Hope you enjoyed the video and have an absolutely, absolutely awesome day.